It's time once again for another edition of Talk to Me. And now, here's ME himself, 8-time Emmy Award-winning journalist, Maynard Eaton.
Hello and Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to 2021, our second season of Talk to Me. And joining me is a real pleasure for me to have our Congressman, Hank Johnson. Please, thank you so much for being here, sir. And Happy New Year to you, too.
Happy New Year to you, Maynard, and so great to be on your show. You are a living legend, and I'm honored to have been asked to appear on your show. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Congressman, you were sworn in 2007, 13 years ago in Congress, I believe. I have the math right. Since then, since the death of Congressman John Lewis, many people believe you become the primary voice for Georgia's black electorate in Washington, D.C. A new sort of status for you think, maybe?
Well, I don't know if I have taken on that mantle or have been entrusted with that mantle. John Lewis is someone who is irreplaceable, and his voice and his stature in our delegation, in our Georgia delegation, is just there's just a big void left without him being there. And so I'm just one of the other Democratic congressmen. We have Sanford Bishop, who is our elder. He's our senior congressman right now from the delegation. David Scott, who has served many years in the Georgia legislature as well as in the House of Representatives of the United States Congress, recently elevated to the post of chair of the Agriculture Committee, a very important committee for Georgia and for the country. And then you have myself. And then after me, you have Lucy McBath, who is a trailblazer, a woman who is cutting a trail in Congress, making sure that, we do something about gun violence in this country. And then we have two new representatives coming in who will be great forces delegation and in the United States, I believe, and that is Nikema Williams, who will be taking over the 5th congressional district seat formerly held by John Lewis, and also Carolyn Bordeaux, our newest member, a seat that we flipped here in Georgia. It used to be a Republican seat, now it's a Democratic seat. Carolyn Bordeaux, a university professor, Georgia State University, is going to make a tremendous mark as well on behalf of the citizens of Gwinnett County and Forsyth County, the Atlanta suburbs, which are so important in terms of the turning Georgia blue. So I stand with all of my fellow representatives, and each one of us has a voice that we use to do good for our constituents and for the state of Georgia, and indeed for the United States of America.
To those who may not know, what sort of impact, influence do you and your colleagues have in D.C.? Is the voices of black congressmen or congressmen from Georgia making a difference, you think?
Yeah, I think that Georgia has a delegation now of 6 Democrats, 5 of whom are African American. I don't think there are many states that can claim that level of African American representation in Congress or in their delegation. I think it's a powerful position that we have, and our influence is going to continue to grow. We're not one of the bigger states in terms of numbers of Democratic representatives because other states have far more population than Georgia has. We have 10 million people. California has 40 million people. So they have 4 times the number of representatives. We have 14 currently in our delegation, 8 Republicans and 6 Democrats. But California, New York, big state, Florida, big state, Illinois. But Georgia is holding its own, and Georgia will pick up another congressional seat in this once the numbers are tallied from the census and reapportionment is done. We'll pick up 1 seat. That'll increase our influence. Georgia is on the way up. We're not bottoming out like some of the northern states are. Some of the northern states are losing population. Georgia's gaining population, and we will continue to gain clout in Congress.
Congressman, why do you enjoy it? What is it about being a congressman in D.C. from DeKalb County, the 4th District? What does it mean to you? What is it? I mean, your wife's a stellar elected official in DeKalb County, but what is it about being a congressman that works for you?
Well, there's a lot that you can do to help people. My constituent services operation is one of the best in Congress. I think we were in the top 3, if not the top 2 last year as rated by Congress. Top of 435 congressional districts in this country in terms of that is something that I take great joy in. I'll point out the fact that peace among men is something that is very important to me. Peace among the people, not just men, but men, women, children, everybody. And so in my position in Congress, I'm able to speak on behalf of my own people, African American people, as well as oppressed people around the country and around the world, trying to make the world a better place and trying to make the country a better place through legislation. And so I get a chance as a legislator to introduce legislation which would, in my opinion, better mankind, better the conditions under which we live, better the policies under which we live, and make them fairer. So those kinds of pursuits bring great joy and satisfaction to me. I am a lawyer by training, and before I went to Congress, I was a criminal defense lawyer. So I enjoyed going to court and arguing cases and appearing in front of juries and winning over jurors as much as I could. And so I get a chance to display those capabilities also as a congressman serving on the Judiciary Committee. And we've had some important issues that have come before us during my tenure in Congress. And I've enjoyed being able to serve on that committee and be a part of those events. So it's a great job. It's a job of service, though, and you can't forget that you're not there to serve yourself. You're there to serve the people who elected you, and you don't own it. You're not entitled to it. You just occupy it with the consent of the governed every 2 years. And so every 2 years I run for re-election, and the citizens have re-elected me 8 times or 7 times. This will be my 8th term. So I sincerely and deeply appreciate the entrustment of this office that the people have tendered to me.
Your judiciary skills, your legal skills in arguing was certainly prominent throughout the nation during President Trump's impeachment hearings. You were loud and clear in your discussions about why he should be impeached, were you not?
Well, I did my best to try to make things plain so that people could understand what the issues were, what the facts were, and what my arguments were about those facts, what my conclusions were. And I just tried to communicate in a clear and simple way so that everyone can follow along with what we're doing and what I'm talking about. I don't want to be misunderstood, as happens frequently to everyone. If you have a pulpit to speak from, you know, there'll be some things that get misinterpreted, and there'll be some things that you say that you did not mean to say in the way that you said them. Um, so, you know, but you do your best, and that's what I try to do. And, you know, make sure that people understand what's in your heart more so than what you're saying. So your deeds over the course of your life help to shape people's perception of what your heart is. And so if you can, you know, just speak from the heart and act in accordance with what you say, I think you'll be okay in the long term. But short term, everyone has issues from time to
Congressman,
time.
we all do. You're right about that. Congressman, as you well know, the nation is watching Georgia now with this U.S. Senate runoff with Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. What's at stake here? What's really happening? People really get how important this race is?
Well, it's we're battling for the soul of the nation. Donald Trump had the soul of the nation by the throat, and if he had been reelected, he would have strangled it. But we're not out of the woods yet, because we've elected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be our next president and vice president, because we want to give them an opportunity to be able to enact their policies and to move us forward from the debacle of the Trump administration. And what's standing in the way of them being able to do that is one man. His name is McConnell, also known as the Grim Reaper, also known as Moscow Mitch. And Moscow Mitch, the Grim Reaper, presides over what everybody knows to be the graveyard of the Senate.
Wow.
It's a place where bills that Democrats pass in the House of Representatives, which we control, go to die a slow and painful death by 1,000 cuts administered by the Grim Reaper. And so if we want to get the Grim Reaper away from the controls of the Senate and close the door on the Senate graveyard and cast a new light on a infant birthing center, a place where things are born and raised, if we want to have someone presiding over that, we've got to change Mitch McConnell out. And we have the ability to do that by electing 2 United States senators from the great state of Georgia on January 5th. And you know, it has come to this in the nation. Georgia, which was one of the 13 colonies, original colonies, which was a bastion of slavery and Jim Crow segregation and voter suppression, is all the way up through the present time against African Americans. Now, African Americans, who were the primary force that turned Georgia blue on November 3rd by electing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris with about 12,000 vote margin, those same black people are now in a position to shape the destiny of the nation by changing the configuration of the Senate, by taking it away from Mitch McConnell and putting it in the hands of Democrats with an African-American female Vice President, Kamala Harris, there to break the tie. So 50-50 plus Kamala Harris means Democrats win and means America wins, and means the world wins. And so we have the opportunity to do that on Tuesday, electing Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, 2 gentlemen who I know will be great senators to lead this country into the 21st century that we're already 21 years into. But seems like we've been going backwards, because that's where Donald Trump wanted to take us. He wanted to make America great again, which meant taking us back to the times where black folks were disenfranchised. That's why he was so popular. That's why his cause is still so popular. And Mitch McConnell represents that cause, by the way. And so we've got to make up lost ground in the next 4 years with Democrats in control of the House of Representatives, the presidency, as well as the Senate. And then we can begin to do some things to reshape our judiciary also, which has fallen under the influence of right-wing conservatism, a movement that's been taking place for the last 50 years to convert the court into a free market, a capitalist bastion of conservative preservationists and elitists who are complicit in the battle to turn poor people against each other so that the rich and the wealthy continue to maintain their privilege and their station in life. So we have a chance to break that up. We have a chance to break that up on Tuesday, January 5th. The same ancestors, the ancestors of those same people who were imported to Georgia to work for free as slaves, and then thereafter terrorized into submission as unequal people in this country. And we are the ones who will lead the nation towards this great moment of the New South and the new United States of America.
Congressman, I got to say something. I've been doing this business a while. That was truly a robust and riveting answer you gave there. Revealing, too, in many respects. Thank you for that. But again, I heard you say in a previous conversation the other day that Georgia is the New South coalition. Can we really make this happen? You know politics as well as anybody. Can this actually happen? Can Ossoff and Reverend Warnock win this election and make the things you just articulated?
Yeah, I believe we have a great chance. The Republicans are dispirited now, fighting among themselves. Some are uncertain as to what their party stands for, whether or not it's just going to be a pro-Trump, whatever Trump says party, or whether or not it's going to have a party that adheres to its prior tenets, which were, small government, low taxes, support for the wealthy, less regulation, or whether or not it's just going to be a no holds barred, no laws, a kingdom where one man rules like a tyrant. That's what the Republican Party has become. It's become the Trump Republican Party. And some Republicans in Georgia don't like the direction of the party. There are quite a few who do, but there are some who don't. And maybe those who don't will choose not to vote for two suckers who do nothing but suck up to Donald Trump. Every day, every moment, they'll tell you, I'll lick whatever Donald Trump wants me to lick. I'll say whatever he wants me to say. I'll do whatever he wants me to do. I'll do it without question. That's what Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue say every day, because their whole thing is they want to drive out that base Trump Republican support. And so there are a number of Republicans who just are not down with that. And meanwhile, Democrats who are powered by the African American vote in Georgia, along with Latinos, Asians, young people, forward-thinking white people, that coalition is what changed the result on November 3rd to turn Georgia for the Democratic president and vice president. That same coalition is still motivated, still activated, still energized, and is showing out at the polls by all accounts. Turnout is up. I think 70 plus thousand voters who did not vote in on November 3rd have voted already in the early voting for the January 5th runoff. And so all indications are looking good. Many of those are young people. There's at least 25,000 of those voters are turning 18 and thus eligible to vote for the first time on January 5th. And they were registered after November 3rd. And so, a lot of work has been done to turn out the vote, the Democratic vote in Georgia, while the Republican vote seems to be just focused on the Trump Republicans. And so I'm hopeful that we can produce a victory on January 5th. I think it's very possible. I got my fingers crossed. It's going to be a razor thin race, razor thin majority. It'll be decided by a razor thin margin, and we probably won't know the results of the election before, Thursday or Friday of next week.
It's amazing to hear how President Trump has disparaged and talked about in low-life terms our Governor Kemp and Roethlisberger, our Secretary of State, yet they still seem to be licking his lollipop as well.
Yeah, it's and while they're doing that, the state of Georgia is being ravaged by the COVID-19 virus. If you go to the Georgia Department of Public Health website to try to find out where Georgia is in terms of numbers of hospitalizations, numbers of infections, number of tests, number of deaths, then, they've got the website rigged up so that it's hard for you to find that information. They, have tried to ignore and downplay the seriousness of this virus, but we've had 644,000 Georgians who have tested positive for this virus, and probably 5 times that many who have actually been infected but are non-reported. Because we haven't really been testing like we should have. And then we've, in Georgia, at least 10,588 deaths from this virus. And it's the pace of the infections and deaths are increasing. I mean, so while Brian Kemp is trying to do everything he can to please the president, while at the same time trying to save face with Georgia voters about, his independence and that kind of thing. But everybody knows where that is, what his loyalties are. But meanwhile, while he's doing all of that, this COVID-19 virus is killing us, and it's killing Black people disproportionately. To our numbers in this state. And so, 2022
many Black folks are reluctant. But as you well know, many Black folks are reluctant to take that virus shot. I mean, it's a widespread distrust. How do you counter that?
Well, I tell you, it's a tough thing because we know that Black people have been mistreated by the medical and scientific community, used as guinea pigs in the past. The syphilis experience at Tuskegee, so many other examples of us being used. But now, a lot of the people who are administering public health are African Americans. A lot of the people who worked on the development of the vaccine to fight this COVID-19, which is 95% successful with the Pfizer vaccine, and the other vaccine, Moderna, is 94% effective, that if you catch the virus, you won't get sick. So 95 or 94% of the people who catch the virus after taking the vaccine won't get sick. That's a great rate. That's a powerful indicator right there versus being not vaccinated and then dying disproportionately because our conditions, our physical conditions are weakened due to just lack of access to the healthcare system throughout our lives. So we suffer disproportionately from various chronic illnesses that leave us weakened, so that when we do catch COVID, it's more likely that we're going to have serious problems with it. And we can fight that by taking the vaccine. It means that we need to wake up, take the vaccine when it's first available so that we can stop the killing of our people by this virus. And so people who are worried about adverse reactions to the virus, it's really minuscule, the number of people who have an adverse reaction from taking the virus, and nobody has been killed because they took the vaccine. So the vaccine
Have you taken it?
helps. Doesn't hurt. I took it
Have you taken
2
it?
weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and I'll be getting my second shot a week from today. Yeah, a week from today, next Friday, I'll take my second shot. No side effects. I feel great, and I'm looking forward to being one who will not get sick if I catch the virus. But that's an important point that I want to make. Just because you take the vaccine does not mean that you won't get infected. And if you get infected, you can still spread the virus to people who haven't had the vaccine. So we're going to have to continue to wear our masks and to socially distance until we can get this coronavirus under control. And it's going to take probably 6 to 8 months while we get as many people vaccinated as possible. And once we can get up to about 70–80% of the people in this country vaccinated, then we will see the rate of infection plummet to very low levels, and we'll be in a position to wipe out this virus at that point. So we really need to, as a people, don't fall for the okey doke. Don't let those who are less prone to develop illness, if they catch the virus, stand in line ahead of us.
Right.
When we're the ones who are dying, we're the ones who are getting sick the most. We should be the first ones in line to get the virus. So to get the vaccine. So I'm encouraging all of your viewers to, as soon as the vaccine becomes available, don't be afraid. Go ahead and take it, and it'll save your life, and it'll save the lives of those who you care about.
Finally, Congressman, you mentioned you get your next shot next Friday. What's the next shot for you politically? Where does Hank Johnson go from here in his political career?
Well, Hank Johnson's just looking at being a good congressman representing the people. And, I'm not going to be doing this job forever. At some point, hopefully on my own terms, I'll be able to retire from Congress and then move on to either full retirement or another career doing something else. I don't know what that will be. Probably will involve my law license, though.
Congressman, it's been a pleasure knowing you, pleasure talking to you, and thank you for the political work that you do. God bless you, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir, and y'all have a great Happy New Year to all of your listeners, but stay safe, stay diligent, stay protected, and protect your loved ones and your friends and neighbors and everybody else. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Take care.